Hello, my lovelies. How are you? Hey, Christine, how are you doing? I think you're the first one in. How are you doing? I lit this right before I started, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put that behind me." And then I looked behind me, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna put it, um, on the paint. Like that's probably not a good idea. How's everybody's week been? The weather here in Florida has been rather weird, but that's the time of year. Florida, the old saying is if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, it'll change. And it's very accurate. It's a very accurate statement. Hey, Angelina, how are you? It's been forever since I've seen everybody. So I'm like, oh, look at everybody. Hey, Lori. Oh my goodness. How's Dan doing, Lori? It's been what, Christine? I'm not. I always get the delay. Like, I'll ask a question and then it's a delay and when I get the answer, but you guys good. I'm glad you're doing good, Angelina. Lori, I'm glad he's okay. Hey, Lydia. How are you? All right. So let's get to tarot tonight, all right? As I started the other week, I was like, let's look at the palm reading ones that I got and just for fun kind of pull out a card and see if we can learn palm reading. You know I'm up for learning, so I'm just going to pull a random card and see if we can learn this line. All right. So, all right, we are going to learn about a worry line. Hey, Chad, how are you? Lori! I'm so excited! That is awesome news! That is awesome news! Oh, I am so happy to hear that. Okay, I'm not gonna cry. It'll be fine. Got the worry lines. We don't have to worry too much. All right, the worry lines. These fine lines are common and most are unimportant. If these cross the lifeline, they could have negative effects on your health. You could try meditation or self-hypnosis. Okay, so we're going to look at our right hand. We're going to look at our right hand and this right here is our lifeline, right? This is our lifeline. But there's these little tiny lines right here in your palm, right? On this side. If any of these lines cross your lifeline, that means that your health is bad. But if you don't have any lines that cross your lifeline, then most of them are unimportant. It says you don't need to worry about it, even though they're called worry lines. Oh. Salisbury steak. That sounds good, Chad. That sounds really good. I am a red meat eater. I know it's bad. I know I shouldn't eat as much red meat as I do, but red meat is a weakness of mine. So Salisbury steak sounds good. All right. Who is in line tonight? Who wants their tarot read? We've got I know that Christine was in here first, and then Angelina, Lori, Lydia, and then Chad. So are we going that way? We'll go that way. All right. Christine, let's get you. Christine, your mind is buzzing. Like it's, I don't know how to explain. Like there's too much, but like there's only one word that keeps coming across, and it's literally a word. And I don't know, It's not an action, it's a word, and the word is work. But it's just like, this is all very chaotic. And then I just get the word work. You got the Queen of Swords in shadow. All right. Queen of Swords in shadow. My eyes focused in on the mountain behind her. There is a mountain behind her, and she's like, of course, since it's in shadow, the mountain is upside down. And I'm not sure why my brain is catching that. Critical, makes fun of others. Nothing is ever good enough because you don't feel good enough. Harsh critics keep others at a distance and shut down possibilities. Oh, it's upside down because you never feel like you're going to climb that mountain. Like, you're not going to get it to the top of that mountain. It is an uphill mountain. There is, I'm not going to say it's female. It's not female, but there is somebody that is constantly degrading you. And I want to say it's at work. Like, I just keep getting work laid in front of me. The whole word just keeps spinning right in front of me. This boils down to an insecurity that we all share. And the insecurity is, I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not enough. So this person, they are just kind of mean, but they don't see what they say to you as an insult. They think it's somehow building you. Like, it makes you into a better person instead of just seeing you as a whole person and being appreciative of the person you are, right? But because it's an insecurity that's already kind of bubbled underneath that surface, it's becoming a little harder to take, right? And so it's rubbing you raw. You're feeling this and you're just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know. What I get is, I don't know to move on. This is a twofold thing. It's an insecurity of yours, and it's just something they're just mean. Like, that's just who they like. It sucks to say that. It's just who they are, but it is just who they are. And for your own sanity, don't take it personally. And that's easier said than done, I know. All right. Maybe that's why, Christine, maybe that's why I'm feeling like this is an insecurity of yours bubbling up underneath. But your card is talking about, like, there's somebody just been completely ugly to you, and it's making that insecurity worse. That little thing that you've been able to keep below the surface now requires you to do the healing, you know? All right. Yeah, that's what this card is saying, is just like, yeah, but part of it is you just got to do the healing. So, hey, Angela, how are you? All right. Next person was Angelina, and then Lori. I love the whole chat, by the way, when you guys all are like, hey, love and hugs. And, I flippin' love that. That makes my whole heart happy. When you guys do that check in with each other, oh, makes my whole heart happy. All right. Angelina. Ooh, my hip pinched. Like, it feels like something's digging in my hip. Got the Four of Wands in shadow. Oh, thank you, Christine. Thank you. My mom used to tell me that one of my purposes on this planet was to bring light and joy to people. I was like, I hope I do that. I hope I fulfill my purpose. All right, Four of Wands, Angelina, and it was in shadow. Now, here's the thing. The Four of Wands, the way it's depicted on this one is like a little troll underneath the bridge. This is in shadow, so it's not necessarily the opposite, but it's not necessarily a troll under the bridge, right? But it is a troll under the bridge, if you can understand what I'm trying to say, all right? All right. A troll under the bridge is what we hide away. Positive qualities can be stored in the shadow. Oh. Oh, no. This isn't about a talent. Are you feeling sad or regretful about something you've said? Like this says, it's very internalized. There's this thing that you keep inside of you. And it's like, for me, it's anger. Like I keep anger inside of me because of multiple reasons why, and I'm learning to express it, right? But because I've never effectively expressed it, when I do get angry, I say things that I don't mean. And it's hurtful stuff. And so that's the other reason why I try not to get angry, because I don't want to hurt people. But we all have that thing, right? And so this card is pointing out that you've done that. You've let that thing out and accidentally like placed hurt on somebody. But I don't think you know you did it. I think they are keeping it away. I don't think there's somebody that's acting different, and they're acting different because of that thing. The little troll under the bridge got them. All right. So they're hiding now. That was why the troll was upside down, because it's hiding. All right. So somebody that's acting different, talk to them, clear the air, get it out, because I think they're internalizing something that you didn't mean for them to internalize. So I know, Angelina, I do the same thing. I just try to keep my mouth shut. I've heard on different social media, and actually a educational publication, there's something called the villain arc for women, that we are becoming more and more less filtered. And I flipping love that. I feel this. Christine, I feel this to my core. Yeah, it is so hard. It's so hard to keep our mouths shut. But sometimes we don't have to. And sometimes we do this. Sometimes that little troll gets out and we say things because it's a learning moment, not for us, but for that person, right? And that person gets to learn, don't internalize when somebody's angry. Sucks that you had to be a part of that learning lesson and you had to lose your crap in order for them to learn it. And it sucks for them, right? Because now they're having to deal with hurt. So I just kind of look at it all the time like, all right, this was an awful situation. I feel bad about it. I'm going to apologize. I'm going to say I'm sorry, right? And then I'm going to try to put in my own head a silver lining to it, just so that way I don't continue to beat myself up about it, because that's what I'll do. I will continue to beat myself up about it. I said something to somebody a month ago and I'm still thinking about it. That's true, Chad. That is very true. Everybody has light and dark in them. Yep. Yeah, me too, Angelina. Me too. I tell everybody though, and my mom says this too. I'm going to mention my mom again. Um, she tells everybody that if they have an issue with me, out of all of her children, she's got 3 kids, like out of the kids that she has, if they have an issue with me, they need to go reevaluate some things. She's like, because Lisa's really nice to people, unless people are mean to her. And then she's mean to them. I bet you're that way, Angelina. Like you're very good at heart until somebody pushes you and then they cross that line. You're like, and you made the rules. I'm about to play. Oh, goodness. All right. So, Angelina, you said something. Go make amends for it. Okay. I know. I know. It ain't fair. It ain't fair. All right. Now we are with Christine, Lori, and then Lydia, then Chad. Okay. So Lori, I am so stinking excited for you. But for whatever reason, I feel like this comes with like this is a positive and negative moment in your life for some reason. Yeah, well, Chad, you're right. You're right. Don't push my limits. It's not going to go well. I try to be really fair, though. I will say that. I will try to be very, very fair. Oh. All right. Lori. Lori, there's, I don't know. It's like a muted sound in my ears. And it's making me very, I don't know, like I just feel off. Like you've had a couple of drinks and you just kind of feel off. When I'm pulling your card, that's what I feel. And I'm just kind of like swaying for some reason. All right, you got the 10 of Swords. Not in shadow. Does the swaying make sense to you? Wonky? Okay, yeah. It's just like, I don't know. It's a very off feeling. The cycle has ended. You get this card quite a bit. Like you go through a lot of cycles, I've noticed. It comes up for you. I know it's come up for you at least 3 times. The cycle has ended. Destructive thoughts and patterns no longer hold you hostage. Everything you clung to in order to define yourself, even dark negative things, is gone as the cycle completes. This death, above all of others, leads to new emergence of your soul, possibility, and a new narrative. You're getting stuck on new narrative. Like there is this thing, and I innately want to put it on the fact that you no longer have cancer, but I'm very excited for you not to have cancer. So I don't know if that's my ego getting in the way of that one. Okay. Just going to say that. But there's this feeling for me that this thing has ended. You have come to a completion. Everything's great. The things that you were holding your breath for, you no longer have to hold your breath for. Like you can plan again. Like there are, instead of it just seeming like I keep seeing your house, I keep seeing just the walls of your house. And it kept feeling more and more trapped. And now those walls don't seem so confining anymore because of this end of cycle, right? Things are starting to expand. Your world isn't contracting, It's expanding. So that's what this feels like. That's what your card is saying. Makes sense to you? All right. Next is it Lydia or Chad first? Lydia. Lydia and then Chad. All right. Lydia, you were on my mind earlier today. One, I saw the video of the chicken and I had to share it. Yeah, Lori, it is definitely about the change for you. This is definitely about the change for you because that's what it feels like. It feels like you've been just kind of barricading in, preparing for doom. And now there's no longer that happening. You can start, pushing back the curtains and letting light back in the house. That's what it really feels like. It's like letting light back in the house. It's been so dark for so long. All right. Lydia. Lydia, it feels like you're either writing something or drawing something. Like you've got your hands busy. It's not like your brain is really busy. It's just that like you're keeping your hands kind of busy. You got the Two of Swords in shadow. I see this, and as soon as I see the card, you know that this is the card front facing, right? And she is in a realm of reality. But when you see her reflection, when it's in shadow, it looks like it's in another realm, like a spiritual realm. At least that's how I look at it. So to me, I'm going to first and foremost say whatever the words come out of this guide here, I'm going to apply it to your spirituality because I think something's going on there. So let's look at Two of Swords. All right. How far are you willing to go to protect yourself? Better to face the issue at hand than to retreat inward, especially if you have a tendency to isolate yourself. Avoid martyring yourself. It helps no one, least of all you. Allow and accept help when offered. You have recently found a gift, and you are pushing that away hard. You are pushing it away really hard. Your ego is telling you it's not real, that these things aren't happening, that you can't do that, but you can. You can. And it's going to be terrifying and it's going to be difficult, but you are going to have help. And that's why it says don't push away the help. You will have help there. Okay. But what you are thinking, you're like, oh, that's not really happening. Yeah, that's really happening. And yes, you actually are doing that. Okay. Oh, bye, Christine. Have a good one. So there you go, Lydia. And I want to say it has to do with divination as well, because I feel like you have been practicing some styles of divination. I want to say also that you're thinking of getting a pendulum or either going ahead and practicing with it more often. And I would suggest go ahead and do that. That would be a good way of understanding the gift a little bit better. Okay. All right, Chad. Chad, I have to tell you, there is a action figure set or line. I said it wrong, and please don't come after me. No, I'm not an action figure collector. Okay, my husband is. All right. Okay. Anyways, my husband collects these figures from Mythic Legions. Yeah, Mythic Legions, and there's a Freya on the Mythic Legions, and I was like, I saw that and I was like, oh, Chad would really like that one because it was Freya. And it's really cool because you can like customize it and all that kind of stuff. And it was a different Freya. Normally I see a lot of times like Freya has blonde hair, but this one had dark brown hair, which was interesting. All right. Chad. The Seven of Swords in Shadow. Woo-woo, Lydia. Good job. See, that pendulum. Yeah. That pendulum is definitely something that I feel like you would be don't doubt yourself first and foremost, right? And also document what answers you're getting so that way you can follow up and see if they're correct, right? Chad, you've got the Seven of Swords. And it was in shadow. What are you hiding from? True avoidance of a person, place, or thing is indifference. The conscious desire to avoid something usually stems from desire. Our defenses emerge when we discover what we want, then realize we could lose it. The stakes are high. Are you ready to embrace your desire? Can you face what you've been running away from? Give yourself the advantage by setting up the game rules, facing your opponent honestly, and moving from your heart. So I'm reading all of this. And there are two lines that were drawn. One of them has to do with home, and one has to do with work, right? So it's like there's these two very strong lines in the sand that you're about to draw because you're ready to get what you deserve to have, right? And so it's basically what it's saying is like the universe is acknowledging that you are at this point and saying, yes, this is what you should be doing with your life at this point. You should be focusing on your goals and achieving those goals, right? There's a big line in there, though, that says, give yourself the advantage by setting up the game, right? That means to me that you go into whatever situation understanding other perceptions. All right. You need to see how people see you, and you need to think about how you are seeing people. All right. Because the communications are going to be set up based on those things. All right. Blah, 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 blah. That's what it says. Oh, it's it comes better with time. Yes, it does, Lori. You're absolutely right. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine that is a witchling. I guess you would say she's a witchling. She doesn't do a whole lot of practice, and one of the things we were talking about is like natural gifts, and there are people that want to practice but might not necessarily have a natural gift. And one of my things that I think about is that, yeah, you might not naturally be able to do those things, right? Like, I'm not naturally good at math, but I am naturally good at analyzing literature, right? That was my thing in school. I wasn't great in math, but I was okay, right? I was good with music, like playing instruments. I played the flute and oboe and clarinet, trumpet, all that, right? But that wasn't easy. That had to do with a lot of practice. I wasn't naturally gifted as a musician. I'm naturally gifted with words, right? But I was still a good musician because I wanted it, right? So I think a lot of times with witchy gifts, that's the same thing, is that you might not be naturally gifted in divination, but if you practice enough and you sit well enough to where you can actually teach yourself how to feel energy, I think you could become a good, you know, tarot reader. But I don't think it has to come naturally. I think some of us get lucky with it coming naturally. Yeah. That's what it seems like it's going to, Chad. It does seem like it's working out. And it's like, stay the path. Stay the path. All right. All right. Let's find a card to lead us through next week. Oh, before I do that, I want to tell you, I'm going to story time. Let me share you a story about the weirdness that I call accidentally dealing with the Fae. Okay, we all know from past Witchy Wednesdays that I don't really practice with the Fae a whole lot. Like, that's never been in my practice. It's never been something that I have done a whole lot of research on. I know to be respectful and that kind of thing, but don't really have them inside my practice. About 2 summers ago, a bunch of mushrooms came up in the yard. And I ignored it. Okay. I ignored it because I was like, it's just a bunch of mushrooms. And then all of a sudden, like, the tree fell and it fell into the road, and like we had all kinds of house problems. Like, ants invaded the house. Like, it was just one catastrophe after another. And I was like, I didn't feed the Fae. Like, that was what my thoughts were, right? So the following year, I see mushrooms come up and like begin circles. And I was like, no, we are going to handle this. And so I would give, throughout that time when I'd see mushrooms out in the yard, I will put out milk and honey, right? Milk, honey, and a dime. And it's been a couple of months. It's been a couple of months since I have been able to do that, just because I haven't been thinking about it. And I'll have you know, they hide my crap. All right. They hide my crap. I did finally, like, I lost a cord to a TV. Couldn't find it. I had just taken the TV down and could not find the card. And put out the milk and honey. All of a sudden, guess what shows up? That cord. Hey, Jen, how are you? Oh my goodness. I hope you are well. Yes. See, there was a reason why I had to tell that story. Jen was coming in. We were almost closing, Jen. And I had to tell that story. I hope you're doing good. All right, let's get you a card, Jen. It feels like it hurts through here. Like you've got a little bit of a tension headache. Got the Two of Wands in shadow. Interesting card. It's also one of my favorite cards. It's a witch in shadow with good intentions. Taking responsibility for the work when you have caused no pain, when you have caused pain to another. Sorry. Ever since I started reading you, I feel very jumbled. Like my energy is just kind of wavering. I'm not sure why that is. Let me try to reread this real quick, okay? The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Taking responsibility for the worst thing you have ever done. When have you caused pain to another? When have you acted selfishly? Decide how you can make amends. Reconsider your goals. Are you thinking of the highest good for all parties concerned? Is a quick fix worth it in the long run? That is what is yours. That last part is a quick fix worth it in the long run. There's a decision that on paper it looks good. It looks like if you do this right now, it will kind of alleviate a lot of things. But it's a quick fix. And yes, it's an option. It's a valid option. But it feels like that option is going to come with obstacles later that might be bigger than what you're dealing with now. Does that make sense to you? It feels very discombobulated. Like you're just not like Lori. Lori was feeling woozy and wonky, like orientation wise. It's like a mental exhaustion almost. That's what you feel like. So I hope that makes sense to you at all. Yeah. Decide the decision whether or not the obstacles that happen down the road, like you need to figure out what kind of obstacles they are and are they worth it? Are they worth it? All right. Now I think I can pull the universal card for the week. I needed to stop for Jen. That's why. And thank you, Jen, for showing up. I appreciate you. We have a lot of fun in here. If you ever want to come back, we have the whole chat going on in there. As you can see, we've got each other's backs. All right, universal card for this week. What is something that we need to be aware of? What kind of obstacles? I'm going to go with obstacles. What kind of obstacles might be in our way this week? The Five of Cups. The Five of Cups. Three of the cups are spilling red liquid onto the ground. And I want to say it's blood. But I always prefer to read the words first because we have already learned that my gift comes from seeing words. I'm glad that made sense, Jen. I am really glad that made sense. I always worry that when I say something that it comes from the insecure part, like Lydia was talking about earlier, how she's, still trying to trust her instincts. I've been doing this now for a year, and I know I've had many, many opportunities to do this, and I know that I have had feedback where, yes, my readings are correct. Yes, I have correctly talked about people being pregnant and getting homes and all that kind of stuff. So I know that I have a gift, but even still to this day, I get nervous before a Tarot Tuesday, like so nervous that I don't want to do it some days. And I'm constantly scared that I was wrong. Constantly scared I was wrong. It's dumb. But if you're ever suffering from like any type of insecurity and you're like, man, I wish I was as confident as Mrs. M. I'm not. All right. So our guiding card was Five of Cups. And the meaning of the Five of Cups is an emotional state returns to haunt you. Oh no, we're all going to be emotional. Heal your soul by looking at yourself honestly. Oh, it's a shadow work week. Oh, yay. Jen, yes. Yes. But it doesn't mean that it's not the right one. Just analyze the obstacles that you might have. Okay. Okay. So this week is a shadow week. We got to do some shadow work. There's going to be some things that come up and you're going to have a knee-jerk reaction, and that knee-jerk reaction might not be the best thing ever. Like, it might not be what you should have done, right? So when we do those things, when we're like, man, that was a dumb move, or man, I shouldn't have thought that. Why did you do that? Why? What is the trigger for it, right? And I talk about triggers a lot, because I always ask, like, what triggered your depression? What triggers your anxiety? What triggers your insecurities? What is it about those situations that make you feel less than, right? So this week is going to be one of those weeks where we are going to get triggered, and we are going to need to figure out, why did this situation trigger me? Why did I have this reaction? And heal it. And sometimes that means going back to the first time it ever happened and realizing, oh, that wasn't the way I saw it. That wasn't the way it actually happened. Or maybe going back and saying, hey, you didn't deserve to be treated that way. Just depends on the situation, on how you're going to heal it. But that's what we're going to be doing this week. Yay! Joyful day! All right, my lovelies. Be happy. Be safe. Know that I love you. And I will see you next Tuesday for Tarot Tuesday. Bye.